Okay, so selling businesses, there are some common things that we see, mistakes that should be avoided. They're remarkably common, so we try and steer people in the right direction as often as possible, but it's worth labouring this point and making it clear for people now. So what are the 5 most common mistakes that we see? Number 1 is confusing an exit date with an exit strategy. So what do I mean by that? People will often say, I want to be out of my business, and they'll give me a date 2-3 years down the line. I want to be out of it by then. Okay, well, if you want to be out of your business by then, you need to start the process now. Why? It can take 6 to 18 months to sell a business. When you've sold the business, part of that could involve a handover period, and that period could be a month, it could be 12 months. So 18 months to sell your business and a 12-month handover period, 2.5 years. If you want to be out in 3 years, then you need to start thinking about it now. It's really, really important. So that involves planning now to start thinking about, well, what's my valuation? What are the processes? What do I need to do to fix in my business, to get my house in order, as I'll come on to in just a second, to be out in X number of years. So really, really important. Do not confuse an exit date with an exit strategy. A strategy is a plan, a date is Tuesday the 15th. So really, really important. The next thing amongst common seller mistakes is this is a financial transaction. Money will be changing hands. The amount that somebody can pay for your business is going to be largely based on the financial performance of your business. So your books need to be in order, okay? It's very challenging for small businesses that you, day to day, you have things, the priorities, and you've got a list of things you know you need to get to, but the business takes over, okay? But your books have to be in order. So whether that's an accountant, whether you've got an external bookkeeper, however it works, they'll need to be on board. Now, there's an important thing here that many, many people do not think of. If in your business, for example, you don't do management accounts, a buyer is likely to want to know your management accounts, what your performance as in the here and now for the last quarter, for the last month. If you've never prepared those and you're suddenly going back to your internal accountant asking for a big long list of financial reports you've never done before, they will wonder what's going on. And if it's a confidential sale, that's something to think about. Can that person be on board? So again, getting your books in order, who is preparing your books, and what the implications of that are, that can confuse people. So something you can speak to us about, and we'll be glad to help. The next point is not understanding the sales process, okay? Many people find it very inconvenient, the information they get asked for. Buyers want to know certain things. Well, they are spending quite a lot of money on your business, so they will want to know certain amounts of information. If you've got your books in order, if we've got a plan in place, then we as your broker or anyone else you're working with will be able to provide that information, so we don't have to come back to you all the time. But there is some preparatory work that needs to be done. So make sure you understand the sales process. It will be less frustrating for you. It will help you plan, help you organize, and your broker, like us at Intelligent, can take you through that process, make it much more comfortable for you. The other thing to remember, even if you've got an accepted offer for your business, is it isn't sold yet. Okay, people often mentally, they've moved to the Bahamas because they're thinking, I'm going to get this money, I'm going to retire, I'm going to do these things. Right? You won't get to Brighton if you don't plan and stay focused on the business. It's really, really important. And again, sometimes that involves a bit of tough love from us at Intelligent if we think that the seller's not being responsive enough, or the process is going to struggle a bit because there's a loss of focus. So our job is to help keep you focused and on track. The last and the most important thing to understand, and this is where we again have to have sometimes some tough conversations, is where a seller will overvalue their business. Okay, it's really, really important that you understand that about 60-70% of businesses involve some sort of acquisitions, involve some sort of borrowing by the buyer to finance the business. Now, with interest rates, etc., the way they are, buyers want to make sure that the buyers' lenders want to make sure it's a sensible financial transaction. So they will want to understand the financial performance of the business, and they'll want to make sure that everybody's going to get paid and they're being, financially prudent and sensible. So if you're overvaluing your business, if it's a business that's making £100,000 a year and you want £1 million for it, it's going to take a buyer 10 years to get their money back. That's going to be very, very unlikely. So the way that you can honestly look at that and go, have I overvalued my businesses? You may not have sold businesses before, but you're an expert in your space. If you look at a business valuation and you think, hold on, I could rent a unit, I could do some marketing, I could get some staff, I could set my business up for less than that, then there's a question mark about the valuation. So the valuation logic's really important. So again, talk to us at Intelligent. We'll give you a valuation range. We'll give you examples of buyers and sellers circumstances that influence that range, and it'll help you make an informed decision about the valuation of your business. That's what we're here to help. We do it day in, day out. So as always, any questions, get in touch with us and we'll be more than happy to help.